Hey guys, thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us today. It's me, Summer, with Frankly Summer. I'm a digital marketer, and today I have the awesome Christian Smith here. I've known Christian for quite some years, and one day I found out that he became this expert at finding his target audience online. So he's good at reaching his audience. And today he's going to talk about how do you go online and find your target audience. And we're going to dive into how he actually does that, what motivated him to actually do it. And he is a realtor in Chicago with Caldwell Banker. And so welcome, Christian.
Thank you. Thank you. It's nice to see you after all these years again.
I
Yeah.
know.
I can't believe I met you literally almost a decade ago.
I
I
know.
was fresh out of college.
You was young.
I was fresh out of college, Say,
You were
but
young.
yeah,
Yeah, because most people don't really know me from my real estate days because I was living in Chicago at that time.
right, right. So
Right.
literally,
But
I was 21, straight coming back straight from New York, and boom, here I am in this
exactly.
office
I'm
with a
so proud of
different group
you
of
and so
people.
excited.
Thank you, thank you. It's nice to see
Yeah.
you all too.
Yeah. So guys, I started out I did work as a realtor in Chicago, primarily focused on leasing, which I still have been doing today with my career, kind of led with that. And so you are in the space as well. And that's when I met Christian when he was a newbie learning everything.
Yeah, I was fresh, like didn't know nothing. Like truthfully, I don't know if you remember. I remember how I said I don't know how I got the job because I got a call for Rob one day, and it was a long time ago because he said, "I saw your resume on Career Builder." I was like, "Oh, okay." I'm like, I don't know how I got on there, but okay.
Yeah, career builder. And hear that in
Yeah,
a minute.
yeah, a long time.
So tell me, what actually did so Rob found your resume, but is that how you actually got started?
That's actually how I got started.
Oh,
Literally,
okay.
Jan- January 20, no, January 19th, Rob Richmond called me. This is 2013. And January 23rd, I met Sheila. So I
Oh,
didn't know anything, like nothing.
yeah,
I was still on my parents, health insurance. So,
right,
I don't know their phone plan. So I didn't know anything.
right. I felt like your big sister in the office, always trying to explain things. No, this is
Yeah.
how
So,
it is. Yeah. So, all right. So let's talk about your journey as a realtor. So I know where you started, but
mhm,
can you share with our audience exactly what it's like? Because we started at Chicago Apartment Finders, and then they were bought out by Caldwell Banker.
mhm.
And so, can you explain to our audience like how the process works, and based on when you started, and then what you actually grew to?
Oh my God, everything changed like every year. So when I first started, I think we were still doing a lot of paper at that time, was it? Yeah.
Oh,
We,
it was when you started. It was definitely paper heavy.
yeah, it was paper heavy. I remember the lead sheets, black
Definitely.
and white, everything, you know? So when I first started, I can say it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy at all. You know,
Mhm.
Still to this day, people think rentals like, oh, that's quick money. You know, it's the same thing as a sale. It's like it's all these clients' personalities, is what they want. If they don't want it, then they want to yell at you, things like that. But that's down a
But we can dive into the difference with the sale, like actually selling real estate as well as the rentals. What we
line.
were specialists at helping people make a decision that
Right.
day.
Exactly. And it
That
was
day.
hard. You know, I think I think it was actually you. It was either you or Christian who told me that the best brokers come from leasing. And the reason why is because you already dealt with the different personalities and how to deal with clients.
That sounds like something Sheila would say.
Yeah. I,
She
I
is the office manager now. We started with her as well.
right. So she's the managing broker now. Who, between you, Christian, and Sheila, it was always you three who was there. So coming in, learning how the process works. Laws change every year, so it was things we could have done, back in 2013 that we can't now do in 2022. You know, but that is what it is. So coming in, I learned that other than not being an easy job, is you got to prepare for a deal fall right through. There's times, the clients come in, they didn't like what they hear, walk right out. No explanation, no nothing. And you're stuck. We work on commission. So you can get a little nervous, But I was blessed in my life. Like I said, I was fresh out of college. So everything was still, on my parents to me. Unfortunately, everybody don't have that situation. I was just one of the lucky ones, But I left. I've been working for Chicago Apartment Finders for about 9 months in the year 2013. You had left us around the time.
I had left by then. You on there 9 months?
Mm-hmm.
I thought we worked together for at least 2 years.
No, you left me.
Just know I missed you.
You left me. So after that, I went back to New York for some time. I went back to start back on my master's at St. John's at University in Queens. Then I was like, I gotta get back to Chicago. Like, I'm out here doing this. I'm tired of mooching off my father at the time. So I was like, let me get back to Chicago. So I get back to Chicago. A month later, getting back to Chicago, back in the office. This time when I came back, I don't know what got over me, but I just knew everything right then and there. So in the year 2014, when I came back, you know how much money I made?
What?
Mind you, I am 20 at this time when I come back, I am 2014, 20, about to turn 23. I made 57 grand.
Really? On your rentals?
On my rentals.
On your rentals. And it's interesting that people don't believe that you can make money off of just doing rentals. But
truthfully, me just focusing on rentals, I'm making a lot more money than brokers in here. Not to throw anybody on the bus, but it is what it is. And from the last 3 years alone, my closed production value was at $7.4 million.
That is awesome.
So
awesome. So now we can talk about how you make the transition from 2014 to like, you know what? I think I can actually stick with this, go into being one of these top leaders in the office.
Not only in office, I mean, I'm not to my own horn, but in the city of Chicago. So,
okay.
I don't make the Chicago Realtor magazine every year for nothing, no. So.
But we definitely want to dive into that.
So it's.
So what year did it really? So 2014, you made a change, but at the same time, you grew up. Because I do remember how you were when I first met you. You were definitely spoiled, and then you got older.
I was goofy,
Yes. So then suddenly you went to college. You're more of an adult, and so now, what year was it that it really clicked? Like, I can continue to always do this and make the living that I want.
That would be the year of 2015. And the reason why, it was other than actually being the best year I think Chicago Apartment Finders had, period. It was just at this time where, of course, you remember our old bosses, Andy Ahito and Justin Elliott, they started purchasing more properties throughout the city. So, the more you have listings, if you have listings, you're king of everything.
And I had a lot of listings.
You did.
I had a ton. I was a listing queen. I made the right relationships.
And I remember Patty Studiger, that story. No, but but 2015, I believe we had over on our own properties over 1,500 rental properties in the city of
Okay. Was
Chicago
that across the city or was it south side? Because I know
across
that.
the city.
Okay.
And at this time, it was always a stigma of the South Side for some reason. But the
Mhm.
South Side
I
is
remember.
basically city. So they start, buying properties in the Hyde Park area and then, in the South Shore area.
Mhm.
And they didn't realize how much value it is, you
Mhm.
know, south of Roosevelt Road.
Yeah, because that kept me busy because a lot of the agents would not come. So they
Gotcha.
would call me and they just gave me the leads. They wouldn't even take them. Yeah, I
That
wasn't
was
gonna
the
complain or
issue.
say anything about
You
it.
know, I remember that if they had a South Side lead or even a West Side lead, they would send it directly to the Hyde Park office. But
Mhm.
that changed in 2015. They brought this property from the University of Chicago because the University of Chicago didn't want to be landlords anymore.
Okay.
So when they bought the property and rehabbed it, we instantly rented the units with less than a week of listing it.
So what's the address? Where is it?
That was 5554 South Woodlawn. So down the street from the Starbucks.
Okay. Oh,
And the ones at 51st and Drexel, the duplexes.
okay.
So,
Okay. I didn't know about those.
mhm. So those was personally bought by Andy Ahito at the time.
Okay.
And Sheila, I don't know how Sheila convinced him, but Sheila convinced him for every unit that is rented, there will be $1,000 bonus.
I missed that.
So let me put it like this. Not going to count my commission, but I got $20,000 in bonuses.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's nice. Go Andy for agreeing to it.
So basically, in 2015, I'm basically almost making, this is this in the first, early second quarter of 2015. I'm almost making more than I made in 2014.
Okay. No, that's nice.
Yeah. So it's just been going on ever since. And
So that's when it all started for you coming
that's
together.
when it all started for it coming together.
Mhm.
However, in 2016, coming in 2016, I had a little backup. In the year 2016, April 2016, literally a week before my birthday, I was in a head-on collision. You
Oh,
know, it took me out for literally almost 2 months.
I think I recall that. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
literally,
tough with that type of business.
yeah.
So how did you navigate the space of your health and being, because as a realtor, you're a business owner. So
Mhm.
how did you navigate that space?
Well, good thing about me, of course, before she said I was spoiled. So
Yeah.
other than me having my own, savings and everything like that, I didn't have a mortgage. I didn't have a mortgage. My house is paid off. I I was like, I have to start getting my own listings.
That's the beauty.
That's the beauty. That's
Ooh,
how
that's
I
beautiful.
started. So I was like, okay, let me work out some things. Let me call my uncle at the time, who I was know. He's like, well, I have some apartments in the South Shore area. How about you list that? I was
Mhm.
like, okay, cool. This is my first major listing, which is a multifamily. It was a 12-unit building at the time.
Okay.
you know. So he's at the point where he's not going to sell his building because he knows the value of his building.
Mhm.
So me at home in a bed, list the property. The property is gone within 2 weeks. You know, I learned as a listing agent, I could still make money and
Yeah,
not
without doing anything.
without doing anything.
Yes. Isn't it wonderful? Like that's amazing because when I would do listings, I kid you not, every Monday I got at least 100 new listings.
Mhm.
At least 100. The only thing was I couldn't list 100, so that's why I would tell you guys to talk to me and ask me questions about where the properties were. But it was that many every Monday.
Yeah, you didn't tell me it was hard though. I'm like, okay. So,
Yeah.
but still after that, I'm getting these listings. At this time, it's just my family personal property listings. I in the last year, December before the date after Christmas, I ended up in the hospital again. This time, I didn't know I had passed out in my grandmother's kitchen. So I was literally out of out of the office again for another, month and a half. And this time I got in trouble. I got in trouble by Sheila.
Okay.
So apparently I passed out from stress. I passed out from being dehydrated, and I don't know. I didn't know I was stressing myself out just from doing all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I was forced to take leave. Sheila forced me to leave for a month.
And that's good. It's always great to have a good managing broker who
Yeah,
helps, who forces you to take care of
forced me.
your.
I didn't even know that was legal, but okay. I'm just so, and coming. I came back strong. I came back very strong.
Is that when you is that around the time where Caldwell Banker and bought out Chicago Apartment Finders?
Caldwell Banker was bought out September 5th of 2015,
Okay.
which the announcement. So, it was literally because after my accident, I had bought a new car. Then I passed out again. Then we're doing this big whole new announcement that all the offices are going through renovation. Hey, we opened all these new offices, so we have to pack everything and move. So I was like, oh my God, okay, I'm going to another office where I don't know these people. And you
Mhm.
know me, I'm a happy person, I'm a goofy person, but sometimes I get a little nervous around new people. You know,
Mhm.
it's weird. I know. But when the year 2017 came, when I came back from leave, I my life just changed. That's when it really skyrocketed.
So
You
the
know,
level of responsibility, you actually understood the dynamics of like I'm an adult, then also, my health matters and I want to make money. So how do I
right.
position myself to
It's,
always be okay regardless of what happens in life?
I learned how to say no.
Okay.
I learned how to
A
say
whole
no.
nother conversation.
I learned how to say no. I learned how to be on my time. And what I mean my time is once I leave that office,
hmm
it's my time. You know,
Yeah.
I don't want an owner calling me like, well, I want to know the status of today's properties. Well, you knew what time I was in the office, so you should have called me then.
hmm
Or what, just send me an email. But I really learned my time because I was like,
Yeah, because it's
I can
nonstop.
nonstop. I cannot go back in the hospital for something that I can control, you know.
hmm
But however, stress I can control. So I learned to change. I learned to change things around.
So what I'm hearing is that learning to manage stress taught you to focus more on your target audience because
Absolutely.
it's like, why would I waste time talking to everyone when you're not exactly the actual audience I'm looking for in terms of the type of properties I have access to?
And just not target audience for clients. I target audience for recruiting.
Okay.
So Sheila has a young group of 18, 19, 20, 21 year olds now. After I came in, it was a slowdown. Young people, if they don't hear a salary or 15, 16, $17 an hour or whatever, and they hear commission, they be like, well, you know,
hmm
okay. But these Gen Zs now, there's some hustlers.
Okay.
So
I can see that because everybody has a side hustle now. So they actually understand the importance of still having some other level of money coming into the
they
household.
actually understand it's an actual business.
Mm-hmm.
That's what.
Okay, you know what? That makes sense. I can see where they understand it because most people get into real estate not understanding that
Mhm.
you are a business owner now, and the clients that you get is like if you're doing sales, then it's a one-time thing, and you wait a few years and see if they're ready to upgrade. But if it's a rental, then that process of getting, a rental, it could be maybe two, and then they can decide to purchase a home later.
And
So
if you're lucky,
tell me,
you get them both.
yeah, yeah. So tell
So
me,
you,
how when you were saying that you target them for recruiting, because that's still
mhm,
interesting as well as even if you were finding them as renters too.
mhm.
So what was your process?
So you want to start with recruiting?
Yeah, let's start with the recruiting
Okay.
part. Because some
So
people who are realtors may want to recruit people too.
mhm. So this is how I started doing the recruiting process. This is fun. So when I coming back in 2017 after being out for a while, I received a new investor, and with the property of, I think at the time was around like almost 2,000 listings.
Nice.
See my face, right? And I was like, there is no possible way in hell that I'm going to do all this by myself. I'm not. I'm not going to do that. I'm like, I'm counting. They say don't count your money before it's in your bank account, but I'm
Yeah.
just counting like, okay, if I did do this all by myself, this is all. This is almost like this is six figures.
Hmm.
But I was like, no, there's no way. So I was like, Sheila, we have to do some recruiting. Like, and I'm not talking about middle age. I'm not trying to be ages here, but we need somebody who could just go. You know,
Hmm.
you know, a lot of people don't understand that a lot of realtors, majority of realtors have a secondary job.
And they do, but also I would say that people don't also know how the Chicago market is different from, let's say, like I'm in Houston. It's a totally different experience working with a realtor down here, even for a rental, as it is in Chicago.
May
Because
I
down
ask?
here, they will give you a list and you'll go out and find something that they, gave you. But in Chicago, we rode them around in our cars. Even if they met us somewhere, we literally took them to different neighborhoods. We had them narrow it down. So we were very, very specific in the beginning. But here, they may not even go out with you because I've used a realtor here and I didn't even meet her. I met one that I used before and she took us
Mhm.
out, but another one, I never met her. But she
You
was
know
great.
what? We was trained, and like as I said, I guess it's different. We was trained. Never give the full address out. Don't let your client go to the property by themselves. And the
You were
reason
trained
why,
that way.
because 9 out of 10, you will probably lose that client.
Yeah.
Here, if your client goes to, let's say, a high rise, without you scheduling an appointment, you lost that client.
You lost them.
You
Yeah.
lost them. The agents in that building took your client, and there's
Yep.
nothing you can do about it.
No commission there.
No commitment. If you get your client the full address, like, oh, just go to that property. If another agent comes out that building and you don't have a contract with their client that
They
I'm
can take you.
representing you, it's over with.
Yeah. See, I'm like that. I'm still in that mindset, so I don't
Yeah.
fully understand
I would feel,
how to
I
do
would,
it
I
here.
would, I would literally feel some way. What's the point of me having you as an agent if you're not going to help me? And I could have did this on my own. Tell
Well,
you
it
the
is different where Houston is so much bigger, so their help actually is valuable, but it's
truth.
a totally different experience because you might not look at three properties on one street as you would in Chicago.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's totally different. But let's get back to the recruiting
Yeah.
part.
So back to the
So
recruiting
with
part.
the recruiting, what I'm hearing is that you had a lot of units to lease, so you wanted to build a team.
I didn't want to build a team. I just wanted more people in that office.
Okay.
So, and let me put it like this: when we got these listings, they was gonna be active within like 2 weeks of getting them. You know,
Hmm.
so we were just finalizing everything. A lot of them being rehabbed or a lot of them just being updated a little bit. So I was like, Sheila, we have to do some recruiting. So we have to do some new marketing. So this is at the time where we still had this, Chicago Public Transit marketing. So, kind of cost us $10,000, but well, it didn't come out of my pocket. But we did a lot of recruiting from just being around the city of Chicago from the public transportation.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I did this, and having a car is very important to really being in real estate in Chicago.
Yeah.
However, what I did, every new recruit that we got, depending on the side of town that they're on, I'd be like, hey, instead of you coming all the way to the south side, if we get somebody who wants to come all the way over here, I'm going to co-list this property with you. And whoever comes, because the way not to get in all the finances, the way the platform works now is 50-50 if there's a listing agent. However, if you, as a co-lister, rent it, you get 75%, and I'll just drop down to that 25%. So I didn't mind taking the hit.
Yeah, because it's still like you're the listing agent anyway. So
I'm still listing agent. My name is out there. Owner's happy, calling it that. But we had to do some new marketing. We did it from the city of Chicago, from public transportation, and the After School Matters program, which was started by, what our old mayor's late wife, bless her heart, Maggie Daly. So we did a lot of recruitment from there.
So what, you said recruitment from their program? What, from the kids that were phasing out?
Phasing out, because After School Matters, if you're 17, once you hit 17, this is it for you.
Mm-hmm.
So we hit those who's phasing out, and we hit those who's getting ready to graduate high school.
Okay.
And we also did a lot of internships still also.
Mm-hmm.
So, a lot of our internships, people came from, Indiana, Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan. But I'm thinking like, well, why the hell are we not focusing on the people who's here?
Mm-hmm.
So the other offices did what they did, and, Hyde Park, how we are. We did what we did. So no, we're going to Kenwood High School. We're going to Walter Payton. We're going to Hyde Park High School. Get the kids who's here, who want to learn about the business, and make money while doing it. They're here for the summer, so let them make a little bit of money.
Yeah, help me with paperwork.
And at this time in 2017, when that all started, Facebook, Facebook is Facebook, but the marketing wasn't what it is today.
Yeah.
So that was the only difference. 2017, truthfully, MySpace was still popular in 2017.
I don't even remember.
Yeah. MySpace is popular, and there really was no marketing in MySpace at all.
No. I liked it though, but no, I don't recall.
So before the social media came about, that was the marketing we had to do. Instagram wasn't what it is. Was Snapchat out at the time?
No.
No, Snapchat wasn't out at the time.
No.
TikTok definitely wasn't out. So hands on deck. We actually had to talk to people, right?
Yeah. But I mean, those are all good ways to get that age group. So I can see how that would work, and you would get people who are hungry and eager to learn at that time as well.
Absolutely. And we also did some recruitment we went to the Puerto Rican Festival. We went to the Bud Billiken Parade. We went to the Dominican festivals. We went to every single Chicago event that they had. Chicago always having events. So, Taste of Chicago. So, we did what we thought our base would be at.
Yeah. So it sounds like definitely diversity, inclusion. But that's what Hyde Park is anyway. So
yeah. Weird and all.
Right. Very interesting. My favorite neighborhood though. Yeah. So how did how did you phase through where you were able to learn about what a target audience is and how to take steps towards reaching them?
So I would say in about a year, it took 2018 when we transferred to a new office out of the renovations and everything. We transferred over to the Kenwood neighborhood. This is the time where we're really starting learning the market. And this is the time where Facebook also came out with, the real estate marketplace.
Yeah.
So it took some time to learn algorithms and everything like that. But we realized that the younger market, the millennials, wasn't even Gen Z at the time. I mean, 2017, yeah, I guess you call them Gen Zs. There was no more, oh, I'm just going to Google to look, for apartment. I'm actually on social media. This is time where Instagram is around, Snapchat is here. So we realized, especially Snapchat, truthfully, if you want to be truthful, Snapchat was more popular in marketing than Facebook was.
I recall that time.
Don't know why. Because it took me a long time to really learn Snapchat.
Yeah, it was cool, and there were a lot of ads on Snapchat.
There was a lot of ads, and Snapchat knew that because Snapchat price for ads went through the roof.
Okay.
So Snapchat, I believe, for a day was like $2 and something, where Facebook at the time was like 87 cents. So moving on to Facebook, I learned the Facebook game very quick.
Okay. Well, how'd you do that?
So I'm always on Facebook. I'm a Facebook.
Yes.
I like goofy videos and things like that. However, I started to learn that a lot of the properties that I've been getting, for the past years, has been in those River North neighborhoods, those Streeterville neighborhoods, the Lakeview neighborhoods. And as you know, every neighborhood I'm saying is we have a very young crowd. Very young, very diverse, millennials, people who work in tech. Chicago is the city where people who work in Silicon Valley don't have to live in California. They can live in the middle of Chicago, another big city, who has transportation and cheaper rent.
Yeah.
So they, their life is way easier now. So
like I'm telling you what your life is like.
Truthfully, sometimes that's what you really have to do sometimes. Tell them, So I learned those Facebook algorithms, and Facebook actually, give you that option to learn. When you're doing an ad, it really asks you, what audience are you trying to reach? Like I said, I don't want to be ageist. So, of course I did, the millennials. I did the baby boomers also. And I also did Gen Z also, but you kind of know who was the biggest audience, which was those millennials.
And so what words did you use in the when you were creating the ad in terms of targeting them?
It all depends on it. It all depends on the area of the property was located. So if I did Lakeview, my main words was nightlife, of course, parties. Unfortunately, me being a South Sider, White Sox fan, unfortunately I had to put, the Cubs lovers in there. So I had to put those in there. And, I just had to put, what are the main attractions in that neighborhood?
Okay. Yeah, I can see that.
So, any East neighborhood in the city of Chicago is off the water.
Give me just a second.
No problem.
Okay, so you said it's off the water.
Like in mostly every East neighborhood is off the water, off Lake Michigan. So that's another popular attraction. So I named.
Yeah, you're gonna have amazing views when you wake up in the morning.
Amazing views, Who
doesn't want that?
That was the main thing for millennials. Was everything I just stated. from the nightlife, from being off the lake, from being next to Wrigley Field, at the time.
Yeah.
So, whatever with them.
Definitely think and see like, okay, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sold. Yeah, I want to see these properties.
exactly. And it made different from being in River North. So in River North, which of course is closer going west, I could still put the nightlife in there. However, but I still got to put different companies that's in the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
Corporations are in the River West, River North neighborhood and not in the Lakeview neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
So our River North, River West neighborhood is our business minded people.
I
So
see where you're going. I see exactly what you did.
it's weird that you have to switch it, and these
It's not
neighborhoods are
weird.
not.
It's not weird. It's actually right.
It's actually right.
It's
I
actually
learned
right.
I learned a lot from John Taffer from Bar Rescue.
Oh, right. I love John. I love John. You're right. I do too. I do too.
How if you have a bar in a college town,
Uh-huh.
you don't want this to be boring. You
Yeah.
want you in a college town, you're going to make money from a bar, so you have to go to your target audience.
Yeah.
And being a River West and River North versus Lakeview, the target audience is more business minded people who like to go to bars after work.
Yes. And that makes absolute perfect sense to me because that's how you work with the rentals anyway.
Mhm.
And with the rentals, it's easy to find. Like, it's, for example, do you like to go out? Because if you want to go out often, then you're better off living near the places you like to hang out. Because if you have to come home late at night and you don't have a parking spot and you have to park on the street,
Mhm.
that's going to be a headache. So you're better off being closer, and it's cheaper to take a taxi or Uber now,
Uber,
get
yeah.
home. So yes, no, I love how you broke it down because that's exactly what I would have done. And
Mhm.
so excited, yeah. So how
Yeah,
did you learn
I truthfully, I was being truthful when I said I learned a lot from John Taffer.
that?
I was being very truthful. But Facebook algorithms help once again.
Mm-hmm.
That really helped me to understand how I should target audience. And going, for example, Lincoln Park. Lincoln Park is one of the old money, high class neighborhoods in the city. So my target audience is, of course, other than business, is families.
Yeah.
Being across the street from Lincoln Park Zoo, which is
Mm-hmm.
free, is owned by the city. You still being by, the family friendly restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
We have a few, neighborhood bars and things like that. I mean, every neighborhood got to have it. So, but once again, my audience in that location was very different. So my audience at that time in Lincoln Park, I would say about 35 and up.
Okay. That actually makes a lot of sense because by then you don't have to live in the party areas. You can just live close enough.
Absolutely. Then if I had got a client who wanted to be Lincoln Park because they heard good things about it, but unfortunately can't afford Lincoln Park,
Mm-hmm.
I would literally recommend that because legally we can't tell them what neighborhood to go to.
Exactly.
So I would just throw out different neighborhoods like, hey, well, you know what? Since you like Lincoln Park location, you like the area, how about you look into Old Town, which is jump before Lincoln Park?
Mm-hmm.
So Old Town is you cross the street from Lincoln Park. Your price difference
Yeah.
is about 5-6% difference.
Mm-hmm.
You still have your neighborhood bars, you still have your neighborhood restaurants, more younger crowd. You're still gonna have the same reputation as living in Lincoln Park.
Yeah, it's funny. Old Town, I haven't heard that one much, but I do
It
remember.
changed a lot.
Yeah.
Old Town is keeping up with Lincoln Park,
Okay.
But, yeah, but
So let me ask you this. Since we broke down with the how you target them, which I think was great because I
Mhm.
totally see how that actually works. What are your favorite social media sites to actually use, as well as what type of real estate sites do you gravitate to?
My favorite social media site is Facebook,
Okay.
which is make it more easy because Facebook bleeds into Instagram. So if you actually pay attention sometimes, if you notice like some things you would post on Facebook, you go to Instagram, you'd be like, I just saw this somewhere, So it actually kind of matches up. It's weird how the government is watching you. But
So how do hashtags play a part for Instagram? So you don't have to tell us your absolute best operating ones, but how did you decide on which ones to use?
So let's choose a neighborhood. Give me a neighborhood.
Okay, so I love Hyde Park. I actually love Lincoln Park. So it'll be those two.
Just don't give me a different neighborhood that people may not know.
Oh,
you can even do a suburb.
Naperville.
Once again, Naperville is a family-friendly suburb. Out of the city limits. Fortunately, higher property taxes. How the suburbs are, but you have very good school districts. You have that family life. So hashtags, and I'm thinking about not per se in Naperville, but in the next suburban over, Westchester, Illinois.
Okay, I remember that one.
I had a complex in Westchester. I don't know how I went all the way to that county to pay.
That's far.
So it was with Cass Management at the time.
Okay.
So I was the listing agent on Cass Management. So I was like, okay, this is different for me. Like most suburbs I know we know the South suburbs very easily, it connects right to the city. So I was like, okay, I need to find out what's over here. What's the major attractions? Were we close by? So my main hashtags was the school districts. Because schools now are on social media.
They are.
So you can literally bleed their social media into yours. So my main hashtags was the school district. Okay. I also hashtag the different main chain of grocery stores in the neighborhood. I hashtag the most popular parks in the neighborhood. I even hashtag the police department. And the reason why I hashtag the police department and fire department is because one of the units I rented was to a police officer.
I was thinking that. I was like, he's probably got an officer in the area, and that's always good.
Officer, and the department was literally next door to the fire department. I had an officer. I actually had two officers. I had a not a firefighter, but I had his son. His son saw it. I had a couple of teachers, and I just had a couple of regular families who worked in the suburbs. So you really have to know what's in the area. Yeah. You have to know what's around. That's the main hashtags. It's not, it's not going to be the goofy LOLs and things like that. You really need to know what attracts people to this area.
So basically, you can sum it up and say that they need to look at each neighborhood and see what the top qualities are. Because you know how you always ask people, what are your top 5 things that you can't live without? Then basically you need to figure those things out at the least or minimum for each neighborhood, and then break it down with the hashtags. I can see how that works as well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what you have to do. You have to pretend like you. If you don't know the neighborhood, you have to pretend like you know. They say, "Oh, have you went to Beasley?" Yeah, sure. Yeah. It's very nice. So, but it gives you a chance to learn everything too.
So. Yeah. So, what advice would you offer to realtors? Because I can tell you that I run into a lot of realtors who, some may be new and they're like, hey, I want to increase my visibility, but it's the same conversation with some who have been in the industry for many years where they have a whole established career and it is not online. and they are successful. So they want to actually take their knowledge and put it online and become more visible. What advice would you get them in terms of starting from? So one would be for someone who's already seasoned.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you tell a seasoned person how they could actually go online and look for their target audience? Like, what do you think would be the first step for someone like that? Because they should know the neighborhoods pretty well.
So the first step is you should switch your license over to Coldwell Banker, no matter what you is. You know, let me
Preferred by
know.
Christian Smith.
See, that's what recruiting, you know. Let me know. You know, I could reach out to that local managing broker or the branch vice president at the time, you know, and you know, we have classes for this, you know, free. So, but the first step I would give to somebody seasoned is I I think what I would truly have to ask them first is how successful was you, you know, previously? What do you need to change? You know, if you're asking for a target, like you said, they shouldn't know the neighborhoods by heart.
They do. I will tell you this: the age group that I'm speaking of, or shall I say, the seasoned group, they tend to have a difficult time working with millennials because it sounds as though you're actually pretty good at it. And I can tell you what I've heard is that when they work with millennials, you know, they grew up with one social media and then also HGTV. Now we all have watched it, and our takeaway from it is different from theirs. Theirs is like, okay, so this person is at the top of their game and I can be there tomorrow.
Mhm.
And so when they see something online, they're just instantly thinking either they can make themselves some kind of way afford it, or they can ultimately own many properties in a very short period of time without actually having a planning process. And I noticed that some of the more seasoned realtors have a little bit of a difficult time explaining that to a millennial.
I'm seeing everything that you're talking about. And you know what? I got that lifestyle where I could talk to the younger people and the older generation love me.
Yeah.
I don't know where I get a lot of older generation clients because I think, well, Sheila, according to Sheila, is because I'm around my grandparents and older people all the time.
You
So
are. And so I can see how that would
I got
give
that
you
old
a
school
level of
stuff.
empathy when talking to them, but I also see how you can relate to a millennial.
Everybody
Because
mother
that
loves
is
me.
you.
So I could switch. I could switch it. I could, you know, to a millennial, I could talk to them like how they're talking to me. You know, if you want to come straight forward to me, I'm going to come straight back towards you
Hmm.
with a smile. You know.
And you know, I think that's a big difference. I was able to adopt that when I lived in
Mhm.
Chicago and be that way with people. I think down south it's a little, you know, you don't necessarily be as aggressive. And I say
Mhm.
aggressive in a nice way. It's kind of like you're really just matching the people based on like what was it? I forgot what it was called, but based on the colors, how we would identify the person's
You remember
personality.
the colors? Oh my!
I do. I do. I'm green
I
blue.
was blue. You know.
Yeah, I'm blue. Like they say that's what Oprah. So like I'm very kind, and I'll be like, yes, you know, I want to go along with you. Then I have my little cutoff moment where I'm just straight green, very direct, no fluff, totally straight. And I'm still like that. But down south, it's a different. You know, the culture is different. So
Yeah.
those type of things are received a little different.
You know what? Speaking of how I could talk, switch it. Um, Even with the older crowd, if some older people are in their ways. You know, they talk how they talk, and I will literally match it. And they sometimes get offended. A couple of people walked out on me, but you literally have some was like, "Wow, okay, well, I like you, yeah, well,
Mhm.
thank you," because I'm gonna give it straightforward towards you. You
Yeah, they
know,
were probably very orange.
yeah.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
like that. They
well, you know,
probably looked for adventure when they were younger, lived near the clubs.
well, I'm Diana Ross. I could be the rainbow, you know. And you know how I am in the summer. I'm more agitated, like really. But that's you hit me with that one. You know how a seasoned agent can change. You know,
not necessarily change, but take that same thing that they're doing. I guess how what could they do differently? I guess that would pull the
What would
millennials.
you? I believe you said it, but what would you say a season agent is? Give me an age group. Not even an age group. Give me the years that they've been in.
Probably like 25, 30 years. And they have been successful, would say in their career, but this is all before technology, changed and everything. So those are the ones that I think, not that their business probably has suffered, because they probably have a lot of referral business just based on what they've done. So it's
Mhm.
probably less of a concern. And it's probably their grandchildren and other family members encouraging them to take all of their knowledge and actually have be visible online just based on their expertise.
I could see that because the older generation is very direct, and I believe the younger generation do need that. You know, if
And
they
they're
could
going to be honest with them about, baby, you can't afford this.
exactly, you
Yeah.
know, it's better. You hear it from the older generation than you hear it from me, who's the same age as you. You know,
No, that's actually true. So
you
they
might
actually
because
do serve
people
a
might
great
actually
purpose in
feel embarrassed hearing it, from somebody from the same age as you,
this.
telling like, honey, you can't afford this, or your credit is
Hmm.
this. Where you have the older generation who might, other than being direct towards you, they might, say it softly as in love.
You're actually right about that, because
Hmm.
they may actually take the time to nurture you, where someone else may say, okay, how about come back to me when you're in a different position.
Hmm.
And maybe that position will change soon, but you're right. The older person would probably follow up with them, check on them here and there, do pretty good customer service, but it wouldn't have been through email and stuff. It probably would have been an actual phone call.
Absolutely.
So yeah, so I'm actually learning at the same time in this conversation with you in ways that I can actually advise,
And
you
I
know.
would and I would say, other than if they have grandchildren or,
Mhm.
nieces and nephews, that's millennials or Gen Zs, talk, see how you react with them,
Mhm.
just try
I
to
guess like
learn
find out what's most important to them.
what's most important to them.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, okay.
really
So
how.
find out what's most important to them. And then based on everything that you said, go find the individuals who can actually afford what they are looking for in that manner, based
Mhm.
on what the people what they want and what they would like to have now, but not able to afford. And then using your strategy, they can actually go and find that same age group who is in a different financial situation.
Absolutely.
Wow, that actually is good.
Thank you, John Taffer.
Right. We need to talk to John.
Yeah, you guys.
John, you're amazing for everyone. So, tell me, what exactly is really truly working for you right now?
As in social media or just everything, period?
One, social media, and then you can speak in general about being a realtor afterwards.
Like I said, my favorite social media is Facebook.
Hmm.
It's more direct and give you more knowledge of everything that you're doing. It just really gives you more options.
It
You know,
does.
my favorite website is not Zillow,
Hmm.
other than they charging you $10 a week for a listing. Per
Yeah.
listing, you know.
Yeah. I list a lot of properties still, and
Zillow. If you're listening, you'd do better just having a monthly subscription instead of charging. you know, if you do a subscription, you'll get more people.
yeah, they have some other packages too. So it's
Mhm.
interesting.
It's a package I won't be buying. So, children, no. When it comes to apartment wise, other than Facebook, my favorite website is apartments.com.
Okay, so why that one?
Apartments.com. Well, you know what? Let me put it like this: apartments.com actually targets, it's the algorithms that I learned that apartments.com, they know each different neighborhood what the target audience is.
Hmm.
And
I would agree with that.
and
And that's what we do.
I think Zillow owns apartments.com. I don't know. Everybody's just merging together. I don't know. But other than apartments.com, my favorite is actually Domu.
I haven't heard of them in so long, but yeah, I remember them.
I like Domu. If I put a listing on Domu, truthfully, even though every other website would give me somebody professional,
Mhm.
I know somebody who's very professional who going on Domu. First of all, Domo is not cheap to list. It's literally like $50 per listing.
Okay. Does it matter? Do you use it for specific neighborhoods or you use it in general?
I do use it for Pacific neighborhoods.
Okay.
So I would use it for the the Lincoln Park neighborhoods,
Mhm.
or suburban listings like Highland Park, Lake in the Hills and things like that. Are a little bit high end neighborhoods
Okay.
because of the audience.
Yeah.
Somebody spending $15,000 a month is really nobody under 45.
Mhm.
So, but when it comes to things like apartments.com, realtor.com, and I like realtor.com is because it's basically the realtor's website. If your listing is on a multiple listing service, that is the first place it's going to.
Mhm.
It's realtor.com.
Mhm.
So it saddens me that realtor.com don't get the marketing that it should actually get.
Oh, okay. I understand
Because
what you're saying.
for every realtor nationwide, if you're listed with Association of Realtors, National Association of Realtors, realtor.com is your first stop. That is your first marketing place.
Okay. So basically, so one of the things I do is reputation management.
Mhm.
So that would mean that realtor.com, you need to make sure that whatever reviews you have there are decent.
Decent, very. Because the most popular review site other than Google reviews is Zillow reviews.
Yeah, they have a lot.
Yeah. So it can make or break you. But I believe realtor.com is the life that you should actually start with.
Okay. So you highly recommend that one first. Good
Mhm.
to know.
Yeah, once you have something on a multiple listing server, it automatically goes to realtor.com.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. At least in the Midwest market.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it works. It works the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm blessed to be with Coldwell Banker because we have a platform for all our listings, which is separate from the sales listings. So if you want to go to any of our listings, of course, we still have the ChicagoApartmentFinders.com.
Okay.
So we're not going to get rid of that name. And the reason why, and from working there, is Chicago Apartment Finders was the number one locator service in the state of Illinois.
Yeah.
There's not a landlord in Chicago or a management company in Chicago who didn't know Chicago Apartment Finders.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think we had every listing under the sun. So apartment guy,
Hungry people. We can make
apartment
it happen.
stores, and nobody could really compete with us. But then you have companies now like At Properties, when we was bought by Coldwell Banker. At Properties now want to have their own rental division, which
Okay.
is unfortunately still is not competing with us. Chicago Apartment Finders is once again still the number one locator in the state of Illinois.
Okay. That's interesting. But yeah, definitely Chicago Apartment Finders. And then when you do that, if you're moving to Chicago, it'll easily come up if you
Oh,
type
if you go to Google and type in Chicago apartments,
That's it.
we're right there.
Exactly.
Right there.
That's why I know that people would ask me about the leads that would come into the office, and I was like, "There's no shortage. We always had a lot."
So
You say
sometimes we get in trouble because a lead come in, it's like they have an appointment. I was like, ma'am, I don't even see you. But okay, let me just you can just piggyback with us since you're looking for the same, situation. So
right. Like you have a little open house. Yeah,
yeah.
so So tell me, I guess overall, like what are your goals now as a realtor? What would you like to see for yourself happen for yourself in the next year?
Ooh, so my life recently, I've been switching and dealing with multifamilies.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how this happened, but I also did a lot of purchases myself within the past 2 years. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the real estate game is totally different right now. So even though the interest rates, I recommend people, and if you live in Panama, Colombia, if you listen to this, we have an office out there. You know, I recently just bought a condo in Panama and Colombia.
Okay.
So that's more of my life right now. Is like I
Mm-hmm.
still have these listings, but I have partners now.
Mm-hmm.
So I have time to live my life. You know, something I always wanted to do was to buy international. I always
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be an international landlord, which I know the headache is going to come,
Yeah.
but that's what I signed up for. You
Yeah.
know, but being in real estate, it teaches you a lot. It teaches you how to deal with things.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to punk out, I tell you right now, it's really not for you at all.
Yeah.
It's not for you. If you can't take it, back up or just say no. If you can't take no more clients, just cut it off.
Right. Right. In order to maintain your sanity and level of service.
Absolutely, don't pass out like I did. Okay, because the medical bill is not cheap. I don't understand how me just getting to the hospital is $8,000, but okay, but
But it happens.
really, you know.
Yes. So, yeah, is there anything additional like you like to share with realtors based on, your experience, your life? We just talked about what your goals are, but anything you want to share to help motivate them to keep it
Yeah,
going
don't
and focus?
truthfully, don't give up. And I was kind of joking, but not really joking, saying it's not for the weak. I didn't know anything coming into this game. You know, I fortunately I had people like you, Christian, Sheila, others to really guide me through everything, and
You
not
help
to,
me with a lot of paperwork.
yeah, and not I'd be like, what is this? What's this? What is this? And, you got. I had guidance. I know some brokerages, not to crap on anybody brokerage, but I know some don't give their agents that.
Hmm.
you know so like I said, I'm in a situation where if I need something, I could go to somebody. you know
Hmm.
there's literally not somebody who won't answer my question.
Hmm.
Been in this game for almost a decade, which will be in January. I don't know everything. you know it's like going to medical and law school. It changes every month. I think in a couple of weeks some new laws is going to go into effect. I don't know, I have to learn it.
Hmm.
So, but it's a learning game. It's actually the main thing is actually patience. It's not going to come quick, especially when it comes to sales. But rentals,
Hmm.
they think it's easy money, but it's good money. But you really got to learn to breathe and be patient. And once you start getting the rental game, you're going to kill it in the sales.
I believe that
You're going to kill in the sales because
because you know how to hustle.
not only you know how to hustle, you know exactly what you're dealing with. You're
Yeah,
dealing with all these personalities. By this time, the neighborhoods, the suburbs.
very
So
well.
very well. So you're going to kill it.
Hmm.
And don't forget that rental agent might be 9 out of 10 your buying client. So,
Exactly.
and if you're lucky, like some agents, we literally recently had some clients who came in for a rental, but they also left out of that with a pre-approval for a mortgage. And what happened was she really wanted to buy, but she wanted to build.
Okay.
So what happened was she rented for 6 months.
Okay.
Now she bought that land. Now she got the construction loan.
Mm-hmm.
Her house is done.
And there it is.
There it is.
There it is. I
So
love
not only you got two commissions.
it.
You got two commissions, you know?
Yes.
So
Yes,
that
you definitely, I would say definitely you need someone who's going to hold your hand, because in that process, it's going to get frustrating, because if someone can't tell you what you did right or even what you did wrong, because if someone just constantly telling you did something wrong, but when you do something right, you just need to know, how was that even right when I thought I was doing that before? So I completely understand what you're
speaking of
saying.
what's right and what's wrong, one thing I did learn, especially for new people who getting ready to take their state exam and everything, one thing I learned is don't change your answer. If you change your answer, you're probably messed up.
Right. That's, now you failed.
You failed. You
You
failed.
passed before, but
Because
now you failed.
what you think it is and what the law is two different things. You may think it should be that, but the law says something different.
Yes. And I actually helped to create the test, the
I
state
know you
test in
did.
Illinois.
You a genius. I know.
Yeah,
I
I was like, they told me I scored one of the highest scores. I was like, really? Oh, sure, I'd love to join this committee.
Look, when they told me, oh, because at the time when we was taking the test, we took it at the tax place. What's the one of the places that help you with your taxes?
An H&R Block or something?
H&R Block. Remember, it used to be an H&R Block. We had to take a state exam at H&R Block.
Oh, okay.
And the AMP exam.
Yeah.
And when I came out, I told the lady, I'm done. She went to the printer. It took like 50 years to get back. I'm like, this is my language. I'm like, oh, shit. But she came back with the paper saying you passed. So I learned that if you're taking a state exam and they take forever to get back, you pass.
Right. They're just making you sweat.
They come back quick, like, oh, okay.
Right.
It'll take forever. There's like literally 5-6 pieces of papers that's printed out. So I was like, okay, cool. But you really want to, what the law is.
Yeah, definitely important. Well, Christian, I'm so excited that you were able to join me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I will be in Texas soon.
Awesome. I hope to see you when you're here.
Yeah, because we're actually, truthfully, planning on opening more rental divisions around the country.
So, cool. And you get to work on that?
I get to work on that.
Now, that's awesome.
Yeah. Only place I think we're not going is New York City, because we technically have a rental division. It's called City Habitats.
Mm-hmm.
And Coldwell Banker owns the Barbara Corcoran real estate company. So they do a lot of the leasing out there too. So, but we're trying to get it, we're big in California, but we want that rental. We just want to focus on those rentals out there,
Right. Make money in that same day.
Absolutely.
All right, guys. So thank you for joining us. And Christian, appreciate you so much.
You're welcome. It was nice seeing you again. And I would definitely be down soon.
All right. Later, guys.